Now, as you all know, at UTR we love history because it reminds me of all the stuff I forgot to remember. So with that thought in mind, and before I forget it, I thought we'd start things off at the Detroit Historical Museum. Yeah, I remembered something. Now, how do you start this thing? That doesn't sound good.
The Detroit Historical Museum is one of the best places you can go to learn about this great city. For 83 years, this fascinating place has chronicled the life and times of this entire region. And it's right here in Detroit and right here on Woodward Avenue for you to explore. Now, to make sure I remembered my history this time, I met up with Senior Curator Joel Stone, and he took me way back in Detroit time.
You know, usually museums are sleepy places, but this place is anything but that. It's so interactive and so colorful.
Thanks. We have a lot of fun here.
Is that your fault?
Partly. I can be blamed, yeah.
Now, we're doing a road trip special that's about Woodward Avenue. We're like starting in Detroit, we're going to drive all the way out, length of the road and see what we find.
Great stuff.
Now, you've got a great history of Woodward. There was actually a Judge Woodward.
There was a Judge Woodward. He was a character. He was the first Supreme Court justice in Michigan, back when this was the territorial headquarters. And after the big fire in 1805, he designed a plan for the city that was crazy. And then he happened to name the main street Woodward because he claimed it went toward the woods.
Right.
I don't think they believed him then, we don't believe him now.
But what's great about this museum also is you can actually walk through history. There's that entire street downstairs where you actually, tell me about that.
The streets of Old Detroit is probably our favorite crowd pleaser. It's 1840, 1870, and 1900 in Detroit, and you get to walk on the cobblestones, you get to walk on the old cedar streets. People love it.
Tell me about some of the other really cool exhibits you've got here.
We've got, well, let's go chronologically. If we go back to before the American Civil War and talk about the Underground Railroad, which was, Detroit played a huge part in that, our Doorway to Freedom exhibit kind of walks you through the trip that an unfree person would have made to get up to Detroit to get over to Canada where they were free. We then have another exhibit about the arsenal of democracy during World War II. Detroit companies and the people of Detroit made 1/3 of all the stuff that the Allies used during the war.
A third?
1/3 of all the stuff we used. Helmets. If you saw a GI with a helmet on, chances were 9 out of 10 it was made about a mile from here up on East Grand Boulevard.
Why do you think history is so important?
History is important because I think when we look back, we get a sense of where we're going as we go forward. And Detroit being one of the oldest cities in North America, we've got a lot of history here. So we've gone through economic cycles, just like we went through a recent one. It'll happen again. We know that. So maybe if we learn from the last one, we can use that to get us through the next one.
And you know what I love about history? It's the gift that keeps giving, because we keep making more.
Oh, absolutely. And the older we get, the better we are at it.
We could be an exhibit. Ready? Let's do it. Let's be an exhibit.
This place has awesome exhibit after exhibit. And after spending some quality time here, I started to feel pretty proud about where I'm from. The Detroit Historical Museum is a way back building you should definitely build into your schedule. Just do yourself a favor. Try to remember not to forget it.